Welcome to Exploring Tools for Lifelong Learning, Family Café 2021. We are the PSRTI Technology and Learning Connections Project. Your presenters today are A.Uzzle, Dr. Tara Jeffs, and I'm J.Good. And here we are. We look forward to having a great time with you today, so hang on, we're getting started. Our goal today is to explore supports to ensure that all students are college, career, and community ready, experience how learning can be fun and engaging as an active learner, identify 3 widely available mobile device features or apps that could be useful in building independence in daily tasks, and investigate the Technology and Learning Connections website that could be helpful in providing the foundation for ongoing support for locating innovative teaching and learning tools. The Technology and Learning Connections TLC team is part of Florida's Multi-Tiered System of Supports, MTSS, through the Problem Solving and Response to Intervention project at the University of South Florida. Our services support the local development of highly effective classrooms for all students based on the Florida standards through a multi-tiered system of support in a universal education system. Our staff includes 4 technology coordinators and 6 training support specialists housed at the Regional Assistive Technology and Universal for Design Learning Centers. We also have strong partnerships with several national organizations: the Assistive Technology Industry Association, CAST, and the UDL-IRN, the Universal Design for Learning Implementation and Research Network, as well as the National Center on Accessible Educational Materials. All right, turning it over to you, Tara.
At Technology and Learning Connections, we always like to do things a little differently. One reason is so that we can model universal design for learning for you. What you're going to experience today may feel a little different to some of you. Norms allows us to relax a little bit and to ensure you that this is a risk-free learning environment. So our norms today will provide us with a pathway to know what is expected of you as a learner. You can listen or read along with me, but we would like all of us to agree to the following norms. Listen actively, treat each other with dignity and respect, support and encourage each other, participate at our own comfort level. And as we go through the activities, I'd like to encourage you to think of ways that modification for an activity could take place. But before we jump in, we'd like you to know that this PowerPoint's available to you in a downloadable, accessible format. Our first goal of today's session, goal number 1, is experience how learning can be fun and engaging as an active learner. We know that students who are engaged in the learning activity have more positive learning outcomes. Thanks to Michelle Wynn at the Florida Virtual School, she posted a blog on the top 10 engaging facts about engagement that I found interesting and wanted to share with you today. So engagement is inspiring, contagious, everywhere, authentic, positive, active, relevant, simple, shortest path to mastery. Strong evidence also suggests that the connection between movement and learning. Evidence from imaging sources, anatomical studies, and clinical data show that moderate exercise enhances cognitive processing. It also increases the number of brain cells. From this, one might predict that the optimum environment for processing information would include motion. Exercise improves cognition for 2 reasons. Exercise increases oxygen flow to the brain, which reduces brain-bound free radicals. One of the most interesting findings of the past few decades is that increase in oxygen is also a companion by an uptick in mental sharpness. Exercise acts directly on the molecular machinery of the brain itself. It increases neuron creation, survival, and resistance to damage and stress. So we're going to get started today. And we're going to, within in between all of our knowledge that we are passing on to you, we're going to have a movement break, also known as a get up and move activity, and a brain break, also known as brain moves, in today's session. We already shared the research has shown that the movement is important for us to learn and retain information. In this next activity, what we are going to do is we're going to stand up, give ourselves at least 2 to 3 feet away from our desk, and we're going to follow along with the video and try to follow directions and move our bodies. You will see on the screen in the top of the video that it names moves and the right and left combinations needed. This activity is about 2.5 minutes, and in addition, move and make modifications as you feel needed just to try to move some part of your body. Okay, everybody, cameras on.
Let's start with our heads down. Now look slowly up. Hands on your legs, shift side to side.
I got this feeling.
Now hug yourself.
Inside my bones.
Now kind of hula hand.
Those electric wavy
Other
when
side.
I turn it on.
Repeat the whole thing.
All through my
Shift.
city,
Hug yourself.
my home.
Hula hands.
Flying up no ceiling when we in our
Now here comes Timberlake. And
that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my
now heel
feet.
drags.
Feel that
Flick,
hot blood in my
flick.
body
Other side.
when it drops.
Timberlake again.
I can't take my eyes off it. Moving so phenomenally.
And heel drags.
Unlock the wingy rocket.
Other side.
Don't stop.
Now shimmy back and front. Front. Stop your right foot. Swoop back to the front. Let's shimmy again. Going back, front, back. Stop your foot 4 times. Slide front. Here comes scissors hands. Scissors. Axle. Left. Now point, axle to the right. Scissors over here. Axle left. Point. Do the dab. Freestyle. Axle. Freestyle. Axle right. Here comes Timberlake. Go. Heel drags. Other side. Timberlake. Heel drags. Here comes the shimmies again. Going back. And front. Stomp your foot. Swoop front. Do the shimmy again. Going back. Front. Back. Front. Or swoop front. Scissors again. This side. Axle. Point. Axle to the right. Now scissors over here. Axle left. Point. Do the dab. Freestyle. Axle. Freestyle. Axle to the right. Freestyle. Axle. Freestyle. Do the dab. Timberlake. 4 times this time. I repeat. 1 more. Now, freestyle. Do your favorite dance. Keep going. Now, start getting close together. And pose.
All right. Wow. If we aren't warmed up now, I don't know what's going to get us warmed up. So hopefully we got us up and moving and at least enjoying some of that movement a little bit so our brains can think of. Okay, we are all warmed up now. Hopefully that got us up moving and everyone has had an opportunity to move a little. Let's think of the executive functioning skills that we just used in these 2 short minutes. We were able to follow directions through the instructor modeling or picking up the cues from the instructor talking or the text that was shown on the screen. Once we learned what a Timberlake was, we could call on our working memory to make the right move. Let's look at our list. Impulse control we used during the activity if we kept on moving and ignored the impulse to sit down because it made us look silly. Emotional control we put into place so that we didn't become too wild or crazy in our moves. Planning and prioritizing, we had to stop and think what and how to make the moves and what moves come first. Flexibility was called upon if we couldn't remember the move, we had to compromise and then be flexible. We also used our working memory. Once we understood the vocabulary of the terms our instructor called out, we got better and better. I didn't know what a Timberlake was or a axle. Did you? Task initiation was called upon and used during these freestyle movements. In addition, we used task initiation, self-monitoring to see if we were even close to what the instructor was doing on the screen. We practiced a lot of executive functioning skills in 2 quick minutes. Now, stop and think for a second of how you could modify this activity for the people that you know. Possibly we could have partners and holding hands with a partner for support and teamwork. We could customize the music so that our students or the person we're working with enjoys the music. And we could have the students become instructors themselves. So hopefully you have learned that learning can be fun and engaging as an active learner. Our next activity is a brain move. In this activity, you are going to take a pencil and a piece of paper or a sticky note, and I want you to draw from memory the Apple computer logo. The artists in the group, you're really going to love and shine on this activity. Okay, so take a minute and draw the Apple logo like you remember it. Okay, everyone draw. And then camera's on to show us your logo. See if you can see it. Oh, okay. Mine doesn't look quite like an apple. But what about you guys? I need some artists out there to show us those logos. The next step, what we are going to do is select the image of what the real Apple logo looks like. So in the chat or on a piece of paper, write down the number that you think the real image is. So if you think it's image 2 is the real image, then just write down the number 2. Give it just a second. For all you Apple lovers out there and for all you detail people, number 6 is the winner. The leaf and the bite are on the same side. All of you that selected number 6 wins the grand prize. How many of you got it correct? This gives us food for thought because we can see things every day and our brain allows us to release the details. We know it was an apple and some of us remember that there was even a bite out of it, but what we don't remember is every single detail. It's because our brain allows us to remember those details on really important things. So those are things that when we're comparing 2 items or when we're looking at 2 pictures to find their differences, our brain begins to plan, organize, and prioritize the details. Determining what's important and what is similar and different is addition to the working memory. So in order to be successful in using a cell phone or mobile device, we call upon our executive functioning skills. These are just a few examples off the top of my head that I could think of how we use the executive functioning skills to operate and use a mobile device or cell phone. So by using fine motor skills, we call upon our impulsive control because we have to control our impulse to just start selecting every target on the screen. Emotional control is used to manage emotions to achieve a goal or complete a task. Planning and prioritizing in order to maintain focus and awareness of priority apps on the home screen, that's definitely called upon. Flexibility is called upon quite often by trying another way, using voice commands to type a message or to use voice commands to locate items. Working memory is used to distinguish between mobile device features, swipes, left, right, up, down, and their functions, remembering where the on-off button is, remembering where our volume controls are. Task initiation is being able to select the correct app for the right task that we need to do. And organization is needed to have a basic working vocabulary of common terms, camera settings, double taps, press and hold. Self-monitoring is definitely the willingness to learn and reflect and see what's working and what is not working. Those are just a few ways for how we utilize executive functioning.
Wow. So we're going to need those skills because I'm going to ask you what's in your pocket. Look at all these tasks. Calendar, map, reading. If we think about it, for many of us, we had separate tools for each of these tasks. Now they are all readily available on your iPhone or mobile device. And I challenge you to begin introducing this mainstream tool to your students as they transition. Because this tool can give so much power and independence, but we can't wait. We have to begin introducing it very early on and give individuals the skill to be successful, to practice all those executive functioning skills Tara just reviewed. It's also important to continue to invest in the development of alternative communication sources for special education. Research into digital intervention should include people with intellectual disabilities, centering on their participation in the development and the evaluation stages. We're going to look closer at how we can get you started. But first, I want to identify where you are now. We first need to start with usability and cognitive load, and then some priorities, always keeping in mind that personal choice for the individual. Usability is how much effort it takes. The cardinal rule is, don't make me think. Items should be visible and intuitively easy to understand. Buttons should look like buttons. Clear graphics, menus short, things easy to understand, but also providing lots of practice for motor planning. So what is motor planning? Motor planning is the ability to do something with automaticity, like turning on the radio in your car without looking. Cognitive load is a functional task, the content and learning with operational tasks. That's how we interface with the machine or the tool. To reduce the cognitive load, the operational task should be transparent as possible, so individuals can focus on that functional task. However, we need to teach those operational tasks in chunks over time. That's why you need to get started right away. So let's talk about daily routines for a minute. Do you and the members of your family or the people that live in your house have the same internal clock? I can hear you all laughing because clearly we know that is not true. Do we honor the clock of others? I like this schedule because if you look around the clock up there close to 11 o'clock, it says that only 4% of the people are awake at 3 a.m. Well, I can tell you, I know several of those people. But we know our daily routine. But how about that student transitioning and becoming a young adult? What is their daily routine? Have they ever had a choice in when their daily routine, what activities happen throughout the day or night? Managing and customizing a schedule or daily routine is a great place to start when introducing mobile technology. We just need to keep in mind is that motivating and the items have to be motivating or a priority for the individual you're supporting. So let's talk more about priorities because that has to come with that student or that individual, young adult, being very involved in as you get started. Do we even know? Have we always picked the priorities for them? A task that occurs daily is optimal because then you have lots of time for practice. I would start with 3. Remember all those tasks we saw a couple slides back? Can we find 3 with that individual? Also keeping in mind that usability and cognitive load. Remember, you didn't learn everything about your desktop computer before they let you start using it. You started to learn when you picked some important tasks that you had to do. For me, it was learning email. It was important and it was motivating because I got a response back. Remember those days when that was new for us? So I want you to think about what could those priorities be. let's start looking at some daily activities. Well, clearly, I highly doubt if someone's going to pick it manage homework, but they may. But just here's some 6 I came up with. Yours may look different. Reminders, I know I can use that. Send a template text message, send or request money with Apple Pay, quickly place a phone call or FaceTime call. How about something to de-stress when you're waiting in the car dealership for your car to be fixed? Looking at all the things you could do and thinking about that student at transition age, what would be empowering and facilitate independence? This really resonated with me because I use my device to manage all of these. How about you? These are lifelong skills. So let's get started and look. So Tara's been talking to you about executive functioning and all those things to help bolster your executive function. But what do you do with your device? If we look at these 6 categories, executive functioning, leisure, social skills, independence, communication, behavior regulation, I bet most of us have several in most of these areas. So we're going to take a closer look at each of these. So, executive function. Here, I've only picked a few. And my first number 1 priority is it accessible? If it's not accessible, I want to make another choice. Many apps, there's so many apps that do the same thing. So if you find several and you have 2 that are accessible, that's a great way to then give the individual you're supporting a choice that they could select the one they really want to use. It may be not the one you like, but it's the one that they like and they can use better. I don't like what my husband chooses and he doesn't like the ones I choose. You keep in mind accessibility, usability, and cognitive load, and giving options for a choice. We're set off into a good place for them to be empowered to use these tools. So here, under executive functioning, I have 3. And these all look at kind of time management, giving the individual an opportunity to understand and control. Also, some positive behavior supports are built in some of these tools. And that's for Remember the Milk, ChoiceWorks, and Remind. Again, the Remind uses text messaging, so you don't have to be a good speller. Again, and it's a quick way for communication. The next one, I only have 1 wheel, but let's look closer at that wheel. Many of our students with communication needs are given lots of different choices. And so this I brought out, it's the communication wheel for complex communication support needs and augmentative alternative communication apps. This wheel comes from Call Scotland. They're the assistive technology network group that supports students, families, and schools in Scotland out of the University of Edinburgh. This wheel was recently updated in 2020, which makes me so happy because the amount of time it takes to review apps is so time consuming. So we really appreciate when they share these kind of tools to keep us all updated. So all of these apps have been tried and tested, and many of them you may be familiar with. But I really wanted to look closer at that because oftentimes somebody will say, oh, can you recommend an app for my student? And I say no because I need to know so much more information than just saying, hey, throw this app at you. And that's what we're going to do right now. So if we look at the center of this wheel, in the blue, I'm going to get my annotation tools out. In the center, we have full communication systems. Get my stamp right here. And text-to-speech systems. On the left top, communication skills and simple communication. So let's start here on the right. This further divides full communication systems into 3 sections. Text-based with keyboard, prediction, phrase storage, and quick chat. So students that this is successful with are literate. They're able to use quick speech to be able to communicate with others. Our second section is symbol-based grid systems. So these are commonly used symbol sets. Maybe it includes a message bar, and the starter vocabulary sets are provided. A couple familiar ones are Proloquo to Go, Touch Chat, and Snap Plus Core, just to name a few. There may be others you're more familiar with. And in our bottom yellow section are hybrid app structures. These typically involve less common symbols, or you add your own photos, or unusual features. Not that it's just a different structure. And so here, Lamp Words for Life, Cough Drop are just a couple that fit into that category. As we look on the left side under Communication Systems, we're going to divide first into skill building. So here we see assessment support like Early Language Screening Tool Bundle as one of those, or language itself. So Symbol to Write, See, Touch, Learn are a couple that fit into that category. Also in Communication Systems, on specific approaches, are apps that follow the structure of the non-electronic version of that approach, like Pod, PEX, and Visual Schedules. Our third blue section is simple communication. And here we start with communication narratives. And here we're looking at apps that offer photo stories as a structure for communicating, like Story Creator or My Pictures Talk. In the final section under simple communication are very basic systems. Our first one is your own images and no message bar, so very simple basic systems, and Sounding Board is one of those apps that they reference. In our final section under basic systems are visual scene displays, like Go Visual Experience or Seen and Heard widget. And so I like to share this in our short time just to show you all of the features that are involved when selecting the right communication system for an individual. So back to our other grouping under independent living. Here we have Seeing AI is our first one in this category. This is a great artificial intelligence application developed by Microsoft for iOS. It uses AI, the device camera, to identify people and objects. And then the app auditively speaks it and describes those objects for people with visual impairments. Also, we have Google Maps, which many of you are so familiar with. We can't get around without it. Again, thinking how this can help that individual as they navigate their environment, their neighborhood, and stores, and whether it's using public transportation or even if they're driving with somebody else, it's important that they know where they are. An Apple Wallet, and we're going to learn more about that power of shopping. But what's exciting about the Apple Wallet, it's more than just shopping, because here you can store wallet passes, coupons, ID cards, tickets, movie tickets, many other. And again, what's nice is that with the Apple Wallet, it uses touch or facial ID. Because if you're like me, you can never remember that password. Our next three areas are social skills development, behavior regulation, and leisure. And here I've just grabbed 6 to reference some of my favorite, again, that I like to share. Model Me, it's great looking at great visual teaching tool for helping them learn how to navigate challenging locations in the community. Also, there's kind of a photo slideshow to help model that in practice. We also have Today. This has 40 important skills necessary for independent living and access in the community. Again, it's got that robust structure to be able to give students another way to practice beyond that adult being there with them. Under behavior regulation, we have Calm. If you don't have it, I recommend everybody get the Calm extension from Chrome. It's nice if you need a break, if you're on I-4 rush hour traffic and lower some stress and anxiety. There's breathing programs, there's music, there's sleep stories, meditations, and even some master classes. And who doesn't like bubble popping, right? Here we don't have to, we can do it anywhere and really give it a chance for us to center ourselves. Leisure, I'm going to let Allie tell you more about that speed dial widget because it's so powerful and quick if we want to make things simple and intuitive, as well as music. What are the tools that you use to listen to your favorite music? So this is just a few apps that I wanted to share with you in these categories. I'm sure you have a few of your own as well. But if you're still reluctant to introduce a mobile device because, oh no, the places they'll go, but what if we could limit the access to content while they were learning or working in an app? That is guided access. Guided access limits your device to a single app and lets you control which features are available. You can turn on guided access to stay focused on a task while you're using your iPhone, iPad, or iPod. And I see guided access as a teaching tool. Is this where we always want to be? No. But as we introduce that mobile device and introduce new apps, it provides a structure for teaching and practice. Ultimately, we need to continue to work towards that gradual release of responsibility. But this shift will ensure that the students or the individuals are supported in their acquisition of the skill and strategies necessary to be successful. So let's look closer at guided access. So, settings, accessibility. Under general near the bottom, you're going to see guided access. You will see passcode settings. This is where I always enable my Touch ID because I can never remember my other password. And it may be the facial ID, depends on your phone. Also, there's time limits in an accessibility shortcut. This allows you to triple click the home button during a guided access session to display the guided access settings that you've enabled. And then display the auto lock. This is how long it takes your iPhone to automatically lock during a guided access session. Give it a try. You want to practice it a couple times, but it's nice for setting kind of parameters for time limits and to practice some things. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Tara.
Wasn't that amazing? Thank you, Janet. So what we need now is a get up and move activity. Research has shown that if we need to problem solve or need to refine the problem solving skills, such as maybe if we're working on math and science, that after we learn something new, we should get up and move for 30 minutes of activity. This allows us to take the new information that we just learned and process it in multiple ways for multiple purposes. As mentioned earlier, it's the fresh oxygenated blood going to our brain that is working for us. Okay, this activity is going to be 2 minutes long. In the activity, you'll have to decide on a question, would you rather? And your selection then leads to a type of movement you are to perform. Let's take a minute to remind each of you to please modify the given activities so that you can participate comfortably. Okay, everyone, cameras on.
Hold up, stop everything. It's time for a brain break. Time to energize our bodies. Get up off of your seat. We are about to play a game of Would You Rather. And in this game, you're going to have 10 seconds to choose between two options. From there, 30 seconds to do the matching activity. Are you ready? Here we go. Round one. Would you rather be a superhero or a wizard? If you pick superhero, you're doing high knees. If you pick wizard, you're doing butt kicks. Five seconds left. Hey, great job. Next round, would you rather brush your teeth with soap, ew, or drink sour milk? Ew. If you said brush your teeth with soap, you're doing jumping jacks. If you said you would drink sour milk, jump squat.
Everyone's jumping jacks. No sour milk in this crew.
Seconds. Great work. All right, round number 3. Would you rather jump as far as a kangaroo or hold your breath for as long as a whale? If you said kangaroo, you're doing mountain climbers. And if you want to hold your breath for as long as a whale, you got to do some lunges. Seconds left. Hey, great job. All right, round number 4. Would you rather own a magic carpet or own a submarine? If you said magic carpet, you have to do plank leg races. If you said submarine, you better run in place. Seconds left. Hey, great job! Be sure to check back for more brain breaks coming soon and like, share, and subscribe to this channel.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So our brain moves in the next 2 minutes are going to involve the months of the year activity. So let's take a look. Before we get started on the activity game itself, many of us have stopped and worked very hard at remembering the months of the year as we were growing up. And so very quickly, let's just call out the months of the year in order. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Now, stop and try to say those backwards as fast as you possibly can. So it would be December, November, October, September, August, July, June, May, April, March, February, and January. How did you guys do? Mine was a little iffy there. It was harder, wasn't it? So even though we had the same working memory, we had to use it differently, and that caused something different. So let's play this game and see how we do on looking at the arrangement of the months of the year.
December, November, October, September, August, July, June, May, April, March, February, January. Well done. You have completed this game.
What executive functionings did you need to call upon when we were doing the activity? Let's look at the months of the year activity and what executive functioning skills were being called upon for planning and prioritizing, for example. Was it the task and how am I doing it? The flexibility was called upon, and I asked myself about my working memory in different ways. So I had to be flexible in how to use that information that I was remembering. My working memory, what do I know about the months of the year? Task initiation, will I take action and start the task? Organization, how I approach this task, and self-monitoring is how well am I doing? What do I need to change? Now let's look at would you rather activity. I had to first plan and prioritize what my choice I was going to make. Then once I made my choice, I had to call upon my emotional control and my flexibility because I feared that the movements might have been too hard and that I couldn't do it. And then what would I do? And then when my flexibility had that's when my flexibility had to take action to determine what am I going to do. All right, on to you, Allie.
Hey everyone, it's time to transition into some examples of useful built-in tools that you have with you every day. So go ahead and grab your cell phone or tablet. The first part of this example will be geared more towards the Apple products, such as an iPhone, an iPod Touch, or an iPad. I will, however, provide examples later about any Android phones or tablets. The first tool that I wanted to bring up to everyone is the Shortcuts app on iOS and iPad OS. This is an app that every Apple product should already have installed. If not, you can easily find it within the Apple App Store. It should also be noted that this is an example is meant for iPhones that have been upgraded to the latest version of their operating system or iOS 14. If you are unaware of which software version you have, simply go to your settings and then to General, select About, and from here you should be able to identify if you're on the correct upgrade. You may be asking, what is Shortcuts and why is it so useful? Shortcuts truly allow the user complete customization of particular functions within the iPhone or iPad. Users can quickly place phone calls, manage their homework, set exam reminders, send templated text messages, and so much more. If your child is an age where they are looking for more independence, Shortcuts is a great way to do that. What I'm going to do next is show you how to set up a simple but powerful customizable shortcut, or a speed dial a contact in just one click. The first thing that you're going to want to do is open the Shortcuts application on your phone. You will then see a plus icon located in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Go ahead and select this icon. From here, you will want to select Add Action. When you've selected Add Action, you should now see a window that has 8 different icons at the top of the screen. And below that, a list of suggested items based on how you use your iPhone or device. From here, you can select the contact you wish to speed dial. If you do not see the desired contact within your suggestions, you can type Call in the search bar at the top of the window. From here, a second window will appear. Select Call again, and then select the light blue box that says Contact. Now select the contact you wish to dial. You should see their name appear where the empty light blue contact used to be. After you've selected your desired contact, we're now going to customize this shortcut even more. Go ahead and select the 3 dots located in the top right-hand corner of the screen. From here, you can name your desired shortcut. For example, Call Mom. After you've named your shortcut, select Add to Home Screen. If you wish, you can further customize the button by selecting a photo of that desired contact to appear as the icon for this shortcut. To do this, select the smaller of the 2 icons on the page. You should see a pop-up appear where you can then select how you want to add your photo. Select a previously existing photo or take a new photo using your camera. After you have the image you want, select Add and then Done, both of which are located in the top right-hand corner of your screen. When you have completed all of the steps, you can exit the shortcut application and you should now see the speed dial button with the selected photo and text on the home screen of your device. As I said before, that was just one example of many different tools that you can create using the Shortcut app on your Apple device. If you wish to learn more about them, there is a variety of tips on the Shortcut user guide that Apple provides. You can find this on Apple's support page or support.apple.com. Now, if you just sat through that whole example and thought, Allie, I don't have an iPhone. Well, this next section is for Android users. While Android does not have an application pre-installed on their devices, there are tools named Android widgets. These widgets can provide you with a quick access to information without requiring you to open the application that manages the information needed. These can be found within any of your Google Play or Android app stores. The first one I wanted to talk to you about is something that could get you the similar features as I showed you in the shortcut earlier. It's the speed dial widget. As you can see in the image on the right of the screen, the speed dial widget allows you to select up to 6 contacts that you would like to be displayed on your home screen. You can choose to set it up to either call, text, or video chat with that contact. Another useful app is the Stuff app. This application is a to-do list widget. It allows you to add task lists directly to your home screen. As you can see in the photo on the right of the screen, we have a transparent black box located on the home screen of the phone. It lists items that are on the person's to-do list based upon the days. It says today, tomorrow, upcoming, or Sunday, allowing the users to set the order of importance of the items they wish to get done. The last thing that I wanted to show you all was a more complex but very useful app named If. That's IFTTT. This app is very similar to that of the shortcut app for Apple users. Users can create applets, or their term for shortcuts, which connect 2 or more apps or devices together, allowing the user to create a truly smart home environment. Examples of things that you can do with the app are control everything around you with your voice using an Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant, message parents when their children have made it to school, or as an example within the photo, if you are in a scheduled class or meeting and your location is showing as home, so say you're on Zoom, maybe you want to turn off your Roomba vacuum so it doesn't go off in the background when you're trying to speak. This app can range from simple applets to very complex applets, but the ability of this app is only limited by your imagination, and it's completely free. If you're interested more in this application, there are many YouTube tutorials out there on different things that this app can allow you to do. However, you can always check on their website for more information on https:/if.com. Again, that's IFTTT.com.
Thank you, Allie. That was terrific information. I can hardly wait to play with my Android cell phone and explore the If app myself. Let's take a minute and look at the benefits of technology. We begin to look at how they can provide motivation and engagement in building the needed skills. But we also want to look at, when we're working with individuals of all ages, we need to look at the tools that they use in every day, just as Janet had explained earlier in the session, and how to use them for tasks in which they need support. So we need to customize them, is what we're saying. The other benefit of technology is the fact that it truly builds commonalities among people. So if I was sitting there popping the bubble popper that Janet shared and somebody was next to me, they might ask me, what am I doing? And so literally I could tell them I'm popping bubbles. That strikes up a commonality and therefore then an opportunity for conversation. It also enables making social acceptance happens, providing the needed repetition and practice that we need on a daily basis, and giving support such as self-prompting for daily living skills. There are endless possibilities. We have provided you with a link to a Wakelet with resources, and in those resources is a research article. And I know you're saying boring, but it's important for us to use evidence-based research strategies and not just nilly-willy kind of things. This research article provides evidence that daily personal care skills and calendar skills are what makes or breaks an individual from living independently. Now imagine if you could use or have a reminder to brush your teeth or to get out of bed or to do some of those daily reminders that family or our loved ones are providing us on a daily basis. if we could do that through the use of technology, then we could build independence and we could have family members as part of our social networks. These are the types of tasks that we can use technology to help set individuals up for success and to their end goal. It's so important to have a network of young and older friends and family members to share and show the different ways that we use technology in our lives. And I think Janet and Allie have demonstrated technology can provide endless possibilities. So in this next brain move, what we are going to do is test your level of stress. In a case study at St. Mary's Hospital, participants were asked to look at the same picture and then that I'm going to ask you here in a minute. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the picture and you should see two dolphins jumping out of the water. And the dolphins are essentially identical. If you see any differences, it indicates how much stress that you're under. Okay, so the more differences you see means the more stress that you're experiencing right now. So if you see a lot of differences, you may want to enjoy a really relaxing holiday. Are you ready? How did everybody do? Gotcha. I think you all deserve a good holiday anyway. So good job, everyone. Thank you for participating.
Wow. Oh my gosh, I must be really stressed. That was so fun, Tara. Thanks so much for keeping our brains filled with oxygen. And if you all are like me, you learned lots of new words in your vocabulary, applets, widgets, but that's what helps make students independent. I just wanted to remind you in this slide of all of our collaborative partners across the state to support you and your loved ones who have disabilities. And so there's a variety of supports across the state here for you. You may recognize a couple of these, but maybe not everybody. So reach out and get the support you need. On behalf of the Technology and Learning Connections team, we wanted to make sure you also had access to our website, TLC website, tlc-mtss.com. And there's many layers. There's resources. Please feel free to sign up for our newsletters that come out quarterly. There's exploration and interactive simulations. We also have video resources. Our training support specialist, Allie, being one of them, create Tech Tuesday videos every week. And so you'll find all of those on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the TLC project, Allie, Tara, and I would like to thank you for joining us today to explore tools for lifelong learners. Don't wait, get out there and start helping that individual be independent. Thank you for joining us today.